everyone, I'm Jay.
And I'm Sean.
And we watched a movie.
Yes, we did.
So you may have heard of it. It's kind of the hit of Netflix this week. It's called The Social Dilemma, a documentary that people are actually watching. What? It's true. Directed by Jeff Orlowski. This is the movie being talked about on Netflix this week, which is nice because, like, the last one everyone was talking about was that, 50 Shades of Grey take on.
Yeah.
Yes. And the one before that, I think, was pretty much the Tiger King. Which is probably not the height of us at a culture. So
it's up there. It's pretty representative of 2020, I think.
It is, yes. And apparently you can still watch Carol Baskin on reality TV right now. She is Dancing with the Stars. I guess she is supposed to be the star.
Yeah, she would have to be the star because she's not a dancer.
Yeah. And you're right, she's not a dancer. She was out there looking pretty stiff-limbed. And I was pretty tickled to find out that her dead ex-husband that she didn't murder, his family took out a commercial airing during this show right after her dance. What you probably saw was a commercial of his family saying they were offering a reward for anyone who would come forward about that. So that's pretty heavy-handed, pretty ballsy.
Yeah.
I adore that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, I don't know if it's ABC or whoever airs this thing, probably loved that. That's a good
absolutely.
Little bit of
That's
extra
excellent
advertising in their advertising.
Yeah.
Yes. So, anyways, back to The Social Dilemma. Somebody interviewed in the movie wants to know this. When you first wake up in the morning, do you check your phone before you pee or do you check it while you pee? Those are really the only two choices. Yes. That's all it boils down to, he felt. And he's got a point. I think as a whole, what this documentary is really asking you is, should you delete all of your social media? And the answer is yes. There's no debate about that in this documentary because the evidence is mountainous.
We're really at a point
undeniable.
Where you can't say anything good is coming from these things anymore. It's just pure poison, mind rot trash.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, I think this movie even argues for things worse than that. But it is really a neat movie, a well put together documentary. Lots of people wrote on this. My compliments to them. Because they did it in a very accessible way, a way that's very interesting to watch and to digest. And any documentary teeters on that verge of trying to give you the information, but also trying to be entertaining and justify your watch. So I think this documentary was really able to strike that balance. And the thing is, it is pounding the alarm bell. And everyone interviewed in the film worked for a social media company. So you are getting it right from the horse's mouth? Is that the expression?
That's the expression.
Whose mouth? It's the horse?
It's the horse's mouth.
Why did the horse say anything?
That's a good question.
Why is the horse the authority?
Well, I think it's because you had to check the horse's mouth, right? Like, don't look a gift horse in the mouth is another saying. And I think the whole thing is, if you want to know whether the horse is good or bad, you're supposed to check its teeth.
Yes, that's right.
So I think both of those have that as their source.
I don't know about your explanation of that, but anyway.
Get it straight from the horse's mouth.
You're getting it straight from the people who made these problems are now saying, oh shoot, we should never have done this. And in fact are now working on ethics boards and will not let their children anywhere near a screen. And obviously there's the whole thing where people are bullying each other and people commit suicide over it. And that is crumbs, according to this movie. This is the least of your worries. And of course, if you are a parent, that should be a really, 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 really big worry, I think.
Yes.
And I think every parent this day and age must really struggle with, when do you give a phone? When do you let your kid have any internet access, unsupervised internet access? You know, that's a nightmare, I think, as far as I'm concerned. That feels like a nightmare, like not a fun thing to have to go through.
Nope.
This movie is basically telling us not just what a poison social media is, because we all know that and we're all using it anyways, but that it's really a machine that mines and extracts your attention. That's what it's there for. You think it's a place to put photos of your trips and your kids and your dogs and your dinners. That's not what social media is about. You think social media is to show you products that you've already kind of been looking at. You know, if you go on Amazon and you look at earrings, suddenly
it's
every
everywhere.
website you go on is showing you earrings. But that's not what it's about. Those are not the products. You are the product. You are the product. It is mining your attention. It's not even about your data anymore. Of course.
Well, they already have it.
Yes, well, that's the thing. Of course it's logging every site you're on, every search you've ever queried, every picture you put up, every place you've ever been. They're watching, they're spying. But we all know that. That's an agreed thing that people are uncomfortable with when you think about it, but most people try not to think about it and are on these apps anyways. What you may not realize, and this documentary points out so well, is that they are measuring every fraction of a second of your attention. What grabs your attention? And we'll use Facebook as the particular example because, of course, Facebook has been at the forefront of being super shady and terrible, so there's a lot of good examples from them. Get off Facebook. But yes, they're constantly doing micro experiments on you. So they might show you the same headline 2 days in a row, but one day they did it in blue and one day they did it in red. And which one did you scroll by slower? Even if it's just a fraction of a second more, it's still more. So it remembers that you prefer blues. It remembers everything, every little extra bit of attention. It remembers that you prefer dogs to cats. It remembers that you like slippers over high heels. It remembers everything. So this algorithm is constantly, the AI is constantly adding to what it knows about you until it knows you better than you know yourself. Because there's always the stuff that we say, you know, that we are for or against. But what really grabs your attention? And this is stuff that you don't even have to be honest about because Facebook knows.
Well, it's stuff you might not even be consciously aware of.
Yes, and the thing is, like fake news, and I know we've been talking about this for 4 years nonstop, but fake news is actually spreading 6 times faster on Facebook than real news. And when you think about it, and this documentary explains it way better than I will, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, nobody goes on to Facebook for news.
No.
Nobody does. If you wanted real news, you would be on a news website. You're on Facebook for other reasons, whatever they may be. Yes.
Yeah, people have different reasons.
But as Sean said, some sort of conspiracy theory is going to have an attention-grabbing headline, and if the first one didn't get you, well, Facebook just learned, well, that doesn't work on her. Let's try this. Yeah. Slightly different, until you not even click. It doesn't even matter if you click, but if you scroll slower because you're reading it halfway as you go, if you let a little bit of a video play just to see what they're talking about, not only have you taught Facebook that you will slow down for this type of material, you have reinforced the machine for everyone. And in that way, we're all probably guilty of it because nobody is stopping for real news on Facebook because we don't go to Facebook for news. And we don't need to. We've heard it on the radio. We've read it in a newspaper. There are untold better websites. So what goes all over the place and goes viral on Facebook is the fake news. And if you click on it or if you watch a video, Facebook now knows how to hook you. And it's not just hooking you, over time, it is subtly changing your mind about things. Because through repetition, because you think your friends are sharing it. They're not. Facebook is making you think they are. And my sister Jess, will often tell us, like, oh, my Facebook is filled with anti-vaxxers. My sister Jess is super nervous. She's a nurse. So she is looking at stuff way more than you and I would ever look at that stuff. Yeah. So it keeps giving it to her because she worries about it, and so she looks at it. But it never gives that to me because I got no time for that.
No, but it does shape our reality.
Yes, it does, because she said to me, like, she thought when we were all in quarantine, she thought when we got out, there would be fist fights everywhere over all these anti-maskers, because that's what Facebook was telling her. Yep. But then we got out and everybody's just wearing a mask because we're regular human beings. But, you know, Jess can still, first of all, she's got a couple of sisters who throw truth at her and calm her down. But I know my sister's mother-in-law certainly bought into a lot of the crazier stuff on Facebook. Yeah. But the thing about real news is you scroll by, it's 3 seconds, you already kind of know what it says. When it's something crazy, it can drag you down a rabbit hole, and before you know it, 3 hours have gone by. But now you have just sunk 3 hours of your very valuable attention into this dangerous machine.
Yeah, and that's just Facebook.
Yes.
And there are other groups using Facebook the same way. To, like, Facebook is not evil. They're trying to make money. So sometimes those two things are aligned, but they're all about the money. Yeah. They don't care about anything else at the end of the day. Whatever else is just a side effect. But there are other organizations out there who have much more nefarious goals. And they're also using all of these techniques that are being just perfected in very quick time to take you down other rabbit holes and spread their message and their fake facts, whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's like I said, like, if you have money, obviously you can buy ads on Facebook. You can do whatever you want. And obviously hackers in Russia are figuring out right now what makes an American middle-aged white woman click. Yeah. And that's how an election can be bought, because they don't have to change everyone's mind. They
don't even have to pay.
1 million out of 300 million people.
Yeah. They don't even have to pay, though, because now they're using hashtags to share. Like, there's a Save the Children one now. Oh, gosh. That's QAnon. And it leads you down this rabbit hole with other, like, fake, made-up statistics that you're going to click on because it's crazy. And suddenly, 4 hours later, you're indoctrinated. Yes,
that's the thing. It all sounds super convincing. In fact, this happened just on our channel the other day. We were talking about that Netflix movie Cuties that had quite a lot of controversy on it. And somebody in the comments very innocently said, well, but producers did watch 6,000 kids twerk for them during auditions. And I was like, I'm pretty sure nobody in production would be saying that. But where did that statistic come from? Because I'd heard it from a few different sources at this point. So I Googled it. I followed the links back because there were a lot of links, but they were almost exclusive to Facebook. And they all seemed to generate from, like, a religious site. So who is really pushing this? And I finally found the source of it was a quote that said, "We auditioned 6,000 girls and we didn't find her until the end. Nothing about dancing, let alone twerking. Nobody ever said that." Yep. But it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
Because fake news proliferates. Yep. And you saw it on Facebook, and Facebook isn't a news source. Please, please. It's not. Just assume everything on Facebook is a lie. Please assume that. It's probably true. Yeah. It's a coincidence if it's not. Yeah. But just don't read, don't scroll by slowly, don't click on links. Stop. It's so dangerous.
Yep. Yeah, so that's this movie. Maybe we can learn a little bit from it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is really just a massive wallop. And at the end of the day, a movie like this is just trying to engage us and get us to think more critically. Because if you are not paying for the app with your money, you're paying for it with something else.
Yeah.
And we really need to think about what that is and why that is. Because all of our life is online, and all we're doing is constantly feeding the AI beast to know us better, and we are giving them the power to change us in real life, to change real life behaviors.
Yep. It's terrifying.
And we're all susceptible. Like, our life is online now.
We're very susceptible.
Yeah.
If you don't think you're susceptible, you're probably the most susceptible.
That is also true. So it's scary, but I think the only way to fight against this is with information. We need to arm ourselves. We need to prepare ourselves. We have to really accept that this is our new life.
Yeah. It's happening.
Yeah.
So understand what it is that's being used against you, so that, yes, you can be better equipped to defend yourself against it.
Yeah.
Or just delete Facebook.
Well, no, delete Facebook for sure.
But there'll be something else.
Yes.
This
that's
is
the
not
thing.
going away.
You can't really give up everything. Very few of us could. So we need to learn to manage that.
Yeah.
So watch the documentary. It is very well made. It is very accessible to everyone. And it's eye-opening. So arm yourself with information. That's the best thing you can ever do for yourself. And that information is never found on Facebook. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.
Bye.